Hey, this is Vedat from Programmership. In this chapter, we are gonna talk about tuple in Swift. Tuple is used to group values into a single component type. Values are not required to be of the same type. We can use string, integer, boolean, or other data type values in the same tuple. So let's make an example. Let's say var and give a name for our tuples. Let's say person is equal to. So to define a tuple, open the parentheses and close it. So between these parentheses, we're gonna put our tuple values. Let's give a string value. Let's save a dot, and let's give a surname, Oslo. Let's say age is 30, and let's put a double value, which is 80.5. So let's say true for representing the boolean value. So these are the most basic tuple definition in Swift. In this example, we use an unnamed tuple with different value types in it. Let's say unnamed tuple. We can also extract tuple into variables. What I mean by that? Take a look at that. Let's say var, open your parentheses and close it. And between the parentheses, let's add some variables. Let's say name, surname, age, let's say weight, and let's say is admin is equal to person. So here we extract the person tuple values into this variable. So in this case, the Vedat value will be defined into name and also for surname, so on and so forth. Let's try to print the name variable value and see what is the result. Hit run, and here we can see Vedat is the name variable value. Let's say, what about surname? Hit run, and here we can see Özdu, so on and so forth, guys. We can also access the tuple value by position with the dot syntax. It starts from 0. So I mean, to access the person tuple values, we're going to use the indexes. It starts from 0 to as much as the tuples values count. In this case, the Vedat has the 0 index, Oslo is 1, this is 2, 3, and 4. So let's try to print the person tuples first value, which is Vedat. When I put a dot, here we can see some indexes. It starts from 0 up to the 4. 0 means the first value of the tuple. Let's hit run and see what is the result. Here we can see the Vedat value has 0 indexes. So let's try to print the 80.5 value. So what is the index of this? Remember, the first one is 0, 1, 2, 3. So if I write the person dot 3, it must print the 80.5, just like that. Just because person tuple was defined unnamed, we should use tuples value position to access each of them. There is another version of tuple, which is named tuple. Named tuple is more readable than the unnamed tuple. To define a named tuple, just add a key name with a colon before value. Let me show it in an example. So let's delete the print and create a new tuple. Let's say player is equal to, first put your value, let's say ghost. Second value, define an integer. So 150, and health, let's say 70, and find a boolean value. So here we just define an unnamed tuple. Let's make it named tuple. To do that, let's add a key name. Let's say this is nickname, add a colon. So let's give a key name for the second value as well. Let's say score, add your colon. Let's say health for this. Let's say is active and add your colon. So here we define a name tuple. To access name tuple value, we can use key names that we defined. Let's try to print the nickname. To do that, first put your tuples and then dot. Here we can see the key names instead of indexes, right? It is more readable. Let's try to print the nickname. Hit run, and we can see the ghost, which is the nickname value. Tuples are very useful and can be used for all sorts of purposes. For example, if you have a class or structure that has no methods but only properties, you can use tuples instead of using class or structure. We can also use tuples for returning multiple values from a function. So this is the quick chapter for tuples in Swift. We are going to be using it in the future. See you in the next chapter. Goodbye.